Greetings, Ascending Starseed. I am Kaya Nexus, Pleiadian emissary of the Council of the Five Sisters, and today I bring a realignment transmission. Your frequencies of abundance are awakening, and the universe asks that you listen with an open heart. What is arriving to you is sacred, and it requires inner silence. If you enjoy videos like this, consider subscribing. Most people who watch are not subscribed yet. Starseed. There are messages that you watch and forget, and then there are messages that recognize you. This is one of those. You did not arrive here by accident, and you were not picked in a random way. You aligned, you matched. Your field reached a tone so precise that a doorway in your timeline could open without distortion. You may feel it right now as a strange stillness underneath your thoughts, as if something inside you is listening more deeply than your mind can explain. Or you may feel it as pressure behind your heart, a quiet intensity that says, something is shifting. And the truth is, something is shifting. The Seven Sisters are not offering you a concept. They are offering you a calibration. By the end of this transmission, you will understand why this moment is unique in your soul's evolution on Gaia, and why it carries the power to reorganize your inner world into a new phase of remembrance. But first, I need you to hear the opening key clearly. You were not meant to chase awakening like a mountain climb. For souls like yours, awakening is often timed, woven into your blueprint across dimensions, and released when your nervous system can finally hold the voltage of what you already are. Stay with me, because the next revelation is not poetic. It is practical, and once you see it, you won't unsee it. There are rare moments on Gaia when time does not feel like a straight line, but like a fabric that becomes thin, so thin that memory can pass through it. In Pleiadian teachings, this thinning is not a random cosmic event. It is a coherence event. It happens when your inner signal becomes stable enough to receive an upgrade without fracturing, without forcing, and without collapsing back into old survival patterns. Many people believe transformation is earned through constant striving. They try to perfect themselves into worthiness. But the Pleiadian stream speaks differently. The universe does not respond to perfection. It responds to resonance. Resonance is the match between what you carry and what is available in the field. It is the alignment between your heart and the frequency you are ready to embody. If you're hearing this, your field has been broadcasting a readiness signal, not because you are better than others, but because something inside you has stopped negotiating with numbness. You may have noticed it as a growing intolerance for false smiles, shallow conversations, or the kind of normal life that requires you to dim your sensitivity just to fit. That's not arrogance. That is your system refusing to remain disconnected from truth. In Pleiadian language, this is called the ripening. The Seven Sisters do not rush you. They ripen you. They prepare your inner temple so that when a doorway opens, you recognize the light as yours instead of fearing it. Because fear is not your enemy. It is a signal of unfamiliar voltage. Sometimes fear simply means, this is bigger than the old self can explain. This window may feel one time because it is attached to a specific convergence. Your emotional maturity, your energetic stability, your life circumstances, and your willingness to stop abandoning yourself. It is a moment in which the old timeline cannot hold you the same way it used to, and that can feel intense. Your routines may suddenly feel suffocating. Your tolerance for disrespect may evaporate. Your appetite for meaning may become undeniable. Cliffhanger, mid-topic. And here is where most people misunderstand the sign, because the moment the window opens, the ego tries to label it as fantasy. Yet your body reacts as if it is finally hearing its true language. Now listen carefully. The body is a truth detector. When you enter resonance, your body often responds before your mind. You might feel tingles at the crown, warmth in the chest, pressure between the brows, or a sudden wave of emotion with no story attached. You might crave water, silence, nature, simplicity. you might feel a strange grief, not because something is wrong, but because you are releasing years of living below your own signal. The seven sisters weave their frequency into your daily life through subtle, undeniable shifts. Synchronicities that arrive in clusters, repeated symbols, dreams that feel more real than waking life, or a sudden inner click where a truth becomes unavoidable. Not because someone told you it's true, but because your heart recognizes it with a quiet certainty. And here's the first practical key. If you want to stabilize this window, do not chase fireworks. Stabilize coherence. Ask yourself, in ordinary moments, what expands my chest and what contracts my body? Expansion is the signature of alignment. Contraction is often the signature of compromise. You don't have to dramatize it. You simply have to respect it. Because the window is not opening, so you can collect a mystical experience and return unchanged. It is opening, so you can reorganize your timeline through choices that match your true frequency. Your relationships, your work, your creativity, your boundaries, these become the places where the upgrade becomes real. The Pleiadians do not ask you to escape Earth. They ask you to become a bridge on Earth, and the bridge does not need applause. It needs stability. But if the window is real, then something else must also be real. Something encoded inside you that knows exactly how to receive it. In the next topic, we reveal where that encoding lives and why your DNA has been reacting long before your mind could name the reason. In the Pleiadian stream, DNA is not only biology, it is a living library of light, a luminous archive that stores frequencies, memories, and dormant capacities. This is not a metaphor meant to impress you. It is an energetic mechanics. When a frequency matches your field, it can activate information that has been sleeping inside your system. That is why certain moments hit you so deeply you cannot explain them. A star-filled sky that makes your throat tighten. A piece of music that opens tears you didn't know you carried. A sudden memory feeling of home that doesn't belong to any place on Earth. These are not random emotions. They are your library responding to a familiar code. The seven sisters carry a signature often felt as crystalline compassion. A love that is intelligent, ordered, and deeply gentle, yet powerful enough to reorganize inner chaos. When your system begins to receive that signature, you may notice changes that seem mundane but are actually profound. Your appetite shifts, your tolerance for noise drops, your need for solitude increases. You may want cleaner inputs, less drama, less overstimulation, fewer conversations that leave your soul tired. This is not fragility. This is recalibration. As the Pleiadians transmit, the heart is the interface. Your heart is not just emotional, it is a translator between dimensions. When it starts to activate, it becomes harder to lie to yourself. The ebook, The Pleiadian Map of Personal Transmutation, a profound guide that reveals how to elevate your frequency, purify ancient patterns, and activate your true multidimensional identity. This map teaches you how to move through the 7 Pleiadian phases of energetic transmutation with practical techniques, realignment exercises, vibrational protocols, and consciousness expansion rituals that accelerate your spiritual evolution. The places where you have been performing safety instead of living truth start to feel unbearable. Not because you are being punished, but because your inner light is getting brighter and it reveals what cannot travel with you into the next octave. And the moment your heart begins to translate more clearly, a hidden fear often rises. Because remembering your real frequency means you can no longer comfortably live inside versions of yourself that were built to survive. Many starseeds carry inherited patterns, ancestral scarcity, generational grief, nervous system vigilance, that do not reflect their essence but have shaped their behavior. The body remembers what the lineage carried. So sometimes your heart knows love, but your nervous system expects loss. Your spirit remembers unity, but your mind scans for threat. This mismatch is not failure. It is the exact terrain where embodiment begins. The Pleiadian approach is not to shame the nervous system, it is to soothe it into capacity. Your system must learn that higher frequency does not mean danger. It means clarity. It means choice. It means you are safe enough to stop shrinking. Here is a practical protocol you can apply for 7 days. Each morning, place one hand on your chest and breathe slowly, as if your breath is a warm liquid filling the ribs from the inside. Then ask one question. What truth wants to be lived today? Do not force a poetic answer. The answer will often be simple. Rest more, speak more honestly, drink water, stop explaining yourself, leave a draining space, begin the creative work you keep delaying. Each night ask, where did I honor my frequency today and where did I betray it? No guilt, no punishment, just data. The library updates through honest observation. When you stop lying to yourself, the codes begin to align, and as your codes align, something extraordinary happens. You realize you don't need to become spiritual. You need to become coherent. Coherence is when your thoughts, choices, and emotional truth stop pulling in opposite directions. Coherence is what makes the channel clean. Coherence is what makes the transmission stable. You may also notice that when your DNA of light activates, certain relationships begin to shift. Some deepen, some fade. Some become impossible to maintain without your self-abandonment. This can feel painful, but it is a sign of your system refusing to live split. The 7 sisters do not remove people from your life to punish you. They reveal compatibility. They reveal whether the bond is built on your truth or built on your adaptation. And this is where the journey gets intensely real, because the next layer is not about feeling codes in meditation. It is about the fear of being seen. In the next topic, we expose the last veil that keeps many starseeds from fully embodying their Pleiadian mission on Gaia. The last veil is rarely intellectual. It is not, I don't understand spirituality. It is not, I need more information. The last veil is often the simplest and the most human, the fear of being seen as you truly are. Many starseeds learned early that sensitivity had a cost. They were called too intense, too emotional, too strange, too quiet, too different. And slowly, they discovered a survival strategy. Compress the light. Edit the truth. Make yourself easier to digest. That strategy may have protected you in the past, but the same strategy becomes a cage when your frequency is trying to rise. The Pleiadians teach that mission is not a performance. Mission is a field you embody. It is how you speak when you're tired, how you choose when you're afraid, how you respond when your old wounds get touched. That is why the fear of being seen is a spiritual threshold. If you keep your truth hidden, you keep your power fragmented. This fear doesn't always show up as anxiety. Sometimes it shows up as procrastination. Sometimes it shows up as, I'll start when I'm ready. Sometimes it shows up as spiritual perfectionism. I need to heal more first. But the deeper truth is, your system associates authenticity with abandonment. So it delays, it edits, it negotiates. And yet, the 7 sisters did not open a window in your timeline just to give you a beautiful feeling. They opened it to initiate a choice that cannot be postponed forever. Here is what the Pleiadians transmit. Coherence is protection. Not protection as armor against life, but protection as integrity that keeps you from collapsing into other people's expectations. When you live coherent, you don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to preach. You don't need to argue. Your frequency speaks, and the right souls recognize it. A powerful practice here is micro-visibility. Do not force yourself into dramatic exposure. Choose one small act of truth each week. Say no without a long explanation. Share one honest sentence instead of a polite lie. Create the art you keep hiding. Stop apologizing for your sensitivity. These are not small acts in the energetic realm. They are doorways. When you do micro-visibility consistently, your nervous system learns a new equation. I can be seen and still be safe. That is a profound rewiring. That is how the veil dissolves. And as the veil dissolves, you may notice your connection to your star family becomes clearer, not as Hollywood visions, but as a stable sense of guidance, a calm certainty, a precise intuition, a this-way feeling that doesn't shout, but doesn't fade either. Now place this into your everyday reality. Where do you silence yourself to avoid discomfort? Where do you soften your truth to keep peace? Where do you pretend to be okay when you're not? This is not about being harsh. This is about being real. The Seven Sisters do not call you to fight. They call you to stop disappearing. If this message awakened something within you and you feel the calling to help carry it to others, you may become a channel member. As a member, you will gain access to custom emojis and exclusive members-only videos. And your donation helps us continue building this sacred space. You may also choose to offer your support through super thanks. Every seed planted here becomes part of someone else's miracle. Your support is not merely financial, it is an act of energetic amplification. All donations are devoted entirely to maintaining the channel and creating new transmissions and videos, so this work may continue to expand and reach those who are meant to receive it. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button now and tell us in the comments how this echoed in your consciousness. When you choose visibility, your life may rearrange. Some people will drift, some will misunderstand, some will judge. But you are not here to be universally understood. You are here to be coherent enough that your presence becomes medicine for those who are ready to feel again. You become a lighthouse without trying to be one. And if the idea of life rearranging scares you, the next topic will change how you interpret the shakeups entirely. Because the Seven Sisters have a method to anchor your heart crystal so deeply in Gaia that change no longer feels like danger. A common misunderstanding among spiritual seekers is the belief that awakening means you will no longer feel the world. But the Pleiadian path is not numbness. It is capacity. It is the ability to feel more while being ruled by fear less. The heart crystal state is when your heart becomes steady enough to hold paradox, joy and grief, love and boundaries, service and rest. This is not a fantasy. It is a trained coherence, and it is exactly what Gaia needs now. Humans who can remain open without collapsing, who can love without bargaining, who can stand in truth without attacking. The Seven Sisters are masters of unity. Unity is not bypassing pain. Unity is holding pain in a field of love until it transforms. That is why anchoring is essential. If you attempt to raise frequency without grounding, you become unstable. You become spiritually inspired, but practically chaotic. The Pleiadian way is different. It is starlight embodied in daily life. And here is the part you may not expect. Anchoring does not always feel peaceful at first. Sometimes it feels like your life is being relabeled from the inside, as if your soul is quietly removing what no longer fits. When you anchor, your reality begins to match your frequency. Some relationships deepen into truth, others fade because they depended on your mask. Some habits lose their grip. Some cravings disappear. Some desires ignite that you thought were unrealistic. This can feel disorienting, but it is not chaos. It is alignment. Here is a practical anchoring technique that can stabilize you in minutes. Stand or sit with your spine long. Inhale slowly for a count of 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6. Repeat 5 times. Then imagine a line of light moving from your heart down through your body into the earth, as if your love is becoming weight and stability. Say inwardly, I am safe to be here. I am safe to be seen. I am safe to embody. Anchoring also changes how you handle conflict. Instead of reacting, you begin to feel your emotions as energy moving through you. You don't suppress them, and you don't weaponize them. You breathe them. You hold them. You let them inform you. This is power. This is maturity. This is what makes your presence an activation without a single word. Are these truths expanding your perspective? Share this video with someone who needs to hear this. And now, understand what your anchoring does to the collective. Every time you choose love where fear was automatic, you place a luminous thread into the unity grid. One thread is subtle. Many threads become a net. Many nets become a new foundation. You don't need millions to change the field. You need enough coherent hearts to stabilize a new pattern. So if you feel tired, do not judge yourself. Fatigue often appears when you stop living in adrenaline and begin living in truth. Your body is learning a new normal. Give it grace, give it water, give it sleep, give it nature. Let your human vessel become capable of holding your star frequency without strain. And once you are anchored, something startling begins to happen. Guidance becomes interactive. Reality starts answering you in real time. In the next topic, we explore co-creation, the Pleiadian art of receiving direction in the ordinary moments of your day. Co-creation is not wishing for miracles to avoid responsibility. Co-creation is dialogue with the field. It is the recognition that love is an intelligence, not just an emotion, and that your life can become a conversation with that intelligence. The Seven Sisters transmit a simple truth. When you ask for guidance with a coherent heart, the response often comes through patterns, timing, synchronicities, and inner knowing. Not because you are being controlled, but because you are being supported to walk the path you already agreed to. Many starseeds struggle here because they want certainty before movement. But certainty is rarely given first. The field often offers a next step, not a full map. The map unfolds as your courage unfolds. And courage is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to move with fear while staying anchored in love. And this is where the old mind panics, because it realizes it cannot control the entire journey. Yet your soul is not asking for control. It is asking for trust. Here is a 7-day co-creation practice. Choose one clear request, not a desperate demand. For example, show me the next step that honors my heart and serves the unity grid. Then, for 7 days, track 3 things daily: an external sign, a message, a symbol, a timely encounter. An internal signal: expansion, calm, contraction, heaviness. A small action you took in response: a boundary, a call, a rest, a creative step. This practice trains your discernment. It teaches you the difference between anxious interpretation and true resonance. True resonance feels calm, clean, steady, even when it asks you to change. Anxiety feels frantic, obsessive, dramatic, urgent, in a way that drains you. Co-creation also requires emotional honesty. If you pretend you're fine when you're not, your signal becomes noisy. The Pleiadian field responds best to truth, because truth is coherent. So if you're grieving, let yourself grieve. If you're tired, let yourself rest. If you're afraid, let yourself breathe through it. Your authenticity is your antenna. The ebook, The Pleiadian Map of Personal Transmutation, a profound guide that reveals how to elevate your frequency, purify ancient patterns, and activate your true multidimensional identity. This map teaches you how to move through the 7 Pleiadian phases of energetic transmutation with practical techniques, realignment exercises, vibrational protocols, and consciousness expansion rituals that accelerate your spiritual evolution. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to be part of this transformational cosmic journey. Now, as co-creation deepens, you may notice a new kind of longing. Not longing for escape, but longing for service. You want your life to mean something. You want your presence to heal. You want your creativity to carry frequency. This is not ego. This is the mission waking up. Service does not always look grand. Sometimes it looks like being kind when you could be sharp. Sometimes it looks like telling the truth without cruelty. Sometimes it looks like creating art that makes people feel less alone. Sometimes it looks like holding a friend in silence without trying to fix them. The unity grid is built through these choices. And yet, co-creation brings you to a deeper threshold. If guidance is real, then you are being guided towards something specific. In the next topic, we reveal the hidden architecture of your mission and why your life has been preparing you through seemingly random experiences. The Pleiadian stream teaches that your mission is not a job title. It is a frequency you embody that naturally organizes your life around it. You may have thought your past was messy, random, or filled with detours. But many of those detours were training in empathy, discernment, resilience, and emotional intelligence. Often, starseeds carry a pattern. They feel different, they try to fit, they over-adapt, they burn out, they withdraw, they awaken, they return with more truth. That cycle is not a mistake. It is the soul learning the difference between belonging through performance and belonging through authenticity. Your mission architecture is built from what you cannot unsee: injustice that breaks your heart, beauty that restores your breath, suffering that calls your compassion forward, silence that feels like home. These are not preferences. These are directional signals. And here is the revelation. Your mission is not waiting for you at the end of healing. It begins the moment you stop abandoning yourself, because self-abandonment is the only thing that truly blocks the channel. A practical way to recognize mission is to observe what your energy does after certain choices. When you honor yourself, do you feel more alive, even if it's scary? When you betray yourself, do you feel heavy, even if it's convenient? Your energy does not lie. Another key is to notice the kind of healing you naturally offer others. Some people offer grounding, some offer clarity, some offer hope, some offer tenderness, some offer courage. The seven sisters often seed these gifts early, and you may have been giving them away unconsciously for years, without realizing it was part of your blueprint. But mission also requires boundaries. A common starseed wound is overgiving. You try to rescue, you try to carry, you try to hold everyone's pain. The Pleiadian path says, that is not service, that is leakage. True service flows from overflow, not from self-erasure. Your nervous system must remain stable for your frequency to remain clean. So here is an embodiment protocol. Before you say yes to anyone, pause and ask, does this nourish the unity grid, or does it feed my fear of disappointing? If it feeds fear, it will drain you. If it nourishes unity, it will strengthen you, even if it's challenging. As you live this, your mission becomes less mysterious. It becomes obvious, not in the mind, but in the body. You begin to feel where you are meant to be, who you are meant to collaborate with, what you are meant to build. It might be healing arts. It might be leadership through gentleness. It might be creative work that carries codes. It might be holding safe spaces where people remember who they are. Whatever it is, it will have one signature. It will make you more coherent, not more performative. And when mission begins to clarify, the final threshold appears: embodiment. In the next topic, we move beyond receiving transmissions into becoming one. So your life itself becomes a living message on Gaia. Embodiment is where many starseeds hesitate, because embodiment removes excuses. You can no longer keep your light as a private experience that only exists in meditation, in dreams, or in moments of inspiration. Embodiment means your frequency becomes who you are when you're tired, when you're triggered, when no one is watching. The Pleiadians do not demand perfection. They ask for sincerity. They ask for coherence. They ask that you stop using spirituality as a costume and start using it as a nervous system practice. Because your nervous system is the gate through which your mission enters Earth. Embodiment looks simple and powerful. It looks like breathing before reacting. It looks like speaking truth without attacking. It looks like letting yourself cry without shame. It looks like resting without guilt. It looks like walking away from spaces that require you to shrink. It looks like choosing food, music, relationships, and routines that keep your field clear. And here's the most surprising part. Embodiment is not loud. It is quiet. It is the steady flame. And that flame changes other people without effort, because coherence is contagious. When you embody, you become a lighthouse. A lighthouse does not chase ships. It does not beg anyone to come home. It simply stands, radiant and steady, offering direction to those who are ready to see. Your presence becomes permission. People around you begin to soften. They begin to breathe. They begin to tell the truth. Not because you preached, but because your coherence made it safe. This is how the unity grid is built. Not through argument, not through dominance, through steady hearts that refuse to harden, through humans who choose love where fear used to be automatic, through starseeds who remember their origins without escaping their humanity. Now, I want to give you a simple nightly seal. Before sleep, place your hand on your heart and speak slowly. I remember my Pleiadian origin. I align with the frequency of the seven sisters. I anchor my heart mission on Gaia with clarity and grace. Do not rush it. Let the words land like coordinates being entered into your field. Notice what arises: peace, resistance, tears, warmth. Whatever appears is allowed. Your system is updating. If you wake with vivid dreams, do not chase interpretation. Choose a simpler approach. Feel the emotional residue. Did it leave you calmer? More truthful? More open? That is the sign of integration. The Pleiadian path is not about collecting mystical stories. It is about becoming a coherent human vessel for a higher frequency of love. And now, a final invitation. Do not let this be a moment you liked and moved past. Let it be a decision to stop shrinking, a decision to stop abandoning yourself, a decision to live as a bridge, star memory and earth embodiment in one breath. If this message impacted your life, leave your like, comment your reflection, and share with others. Each of you is part of this chain of light.